Oh, I want to record on this one too. Hold on.
Got it. I just had to agree that I would go live. Oh, hold on one second. Could you could you hear
We're
that?
we're live.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Oh, that's cool. You get to run to the couch at the start there. Just
Yeah, that's funny.
just one
Turn
sec.
off the AC. The robot lady just told me the recording is in progress.
Okay. We're
I'm a
on.
fan.
We are live, sir.
All right. Hello, everybody.
Okay. Hi. My name is Joe. These are just opinions. I am Joepinionated. Today is a record release party with my man Jordan Venn. The the group is Jordan Venn and the Slizneys. The album premiering today, so it's on all the streaming services. It's called Magic Words, and we have the man here via satellite, Jordan Venn. What's up, bro?
Hey, how you doing? Good to be here.
I'm doing well. Jordan, just off the top, where can people find the album? Like, which streaming services is it available on?
The internet streaming services.
All the
It's on. I could pull up a list. Uh, but no, it's Spotify and iTunes. I think the two main ones there. I think Amazon Music has it. Deezer, Tidal, uh, name. Oh, it's on band.
SoundCloud.
It's on. You know what? I haven't released it on SoundCloud yet. I was using it privately to try and get spins on radio and whatnot
Okay.
before it was released, and that's just an easier way to. So I got to get to that today. I was working this morning, so not on SoundCloud yet. It is on SoundCloud. Cloud. I could do it right now. I could release it right now. Actually, I'm like pretty old when it comes to the internet. I gotta find my glasses and take me about half an hour. It'd ruin this interview if I did it right now.
Do you want to share this, Jordan, on your like Facebook or whatever? Do you know how to do that or?
I probably don't, but I'm gonna give it a try.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a try as well at the same time here.
Can
Just
you can you send me a link? How do I what do I do here? Do I just say live
yeah, yeah.
now
I'll put it.
with Joe Opinionated? Do you
The
have an
link.
ad on?
I got it's at my friend Joe.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
So people that are watching this right now, we're just getting this thing up and running for our CD release party where we talk about Jordan Venn's new album, Magic Words. Jordan Venn and the Slizneys, home base Toronto, Canada, and former home base Port Alberni, Vancouver Island, Canada. And yeah, so we're just working out a couple kinks here right now, and we'll be kind of up and running with the episode here shortly. And we're
I
even
think I
going to be,
just I think I
what's
just
that?
did it. I think I just did it.
We're going to be promoting, or we're going to be talking about the songs, each song on the new album. They're going to be talking about some of the motivations behind the album. There's a little bit of a theme that I'm hearing, anyways. I've been privy to the album for a week now, and I absolutely love it. So can't wait to kind of pick your brain a bit more. Also, a reminder, like and subscribe. This is on the Joepinionated channel, and it'll also be on Jordan's channel, Jordopia. And Jordopia and Jordan's got quite a few
Wait, wait,
videos.
wait. This is running on my channel on YouTube at the same time?
No, it's not, but it will
Oh.
be because I'm
Oh.
recording it and then we'll put it onto your channel.
Oh, okay.
Minus the start where we're rambling
Right, right.
and doing exactly what we're doing right now.
That's a good idea.
I haven't been
Do
on
these do
Facebook
these
and
people know what kind of special effects you have planned for later?
no, I honestly haven't been on Facebook for a really long time, so we'll see. I'm just gonna make a little post there
Sure.
and get on and off. Okay, yeah, that's on Facebook. Sounds good. Let's get out of Facebook. Good. Okay. Okay, Jord. So yeah,
All
so
right.
reminder to like and subscribe. So hit a like on the video here. There is a ongoing commentary on YouTube right now. Let us know that you're watching if you're watching. And yeah, we're gonna get
Will
started shortly. Go ahead, George.
will we be taking questions? Can they comment and then you can see that live and then we can take
I
questions?
can actually, yeah. So if you guys, if anybody is watching this, and we'll kind of throw some reminders out there, uh, ask away, ask some questions at the same
Right
time.
on.
We're happy to answer those too. And yeah, so it looks like we're live on the internet. This is my first time trying to live things, so forgive me if it's a little bit clunky.
What will happen if I go to your channel on YouTube?
I
I'm gonna
think you'll, yeah,
open up a rift.
go ahead.
Oh, this is, I can see it right now. Jordan Venn and the Slizneys Magic Words live release. Two watching. Is that,
Trying to live things, so
do you think we're the
forgive me
two
if
who
it's a
are
little bit
watching? Clunky?
yeah, yeah.
What will happen if,
I can hear it
oh,
on your mic though.
oh no. Oh no. There we go. Okay. Well,
I
I'm
turn
gonna
the
just,
volume off.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll just leave it on the small window with the volume off, and then we can see if there is any. Oh no, now it's gone.
It says three watching.
Oh shit. There's more than that's more than you and me.
Oh my God, a comment.
What? Shut up. That's
Oh,
amazing.
it says when you buy subscribers on YouTube, it's obvious from the views in your videos. Also, the lack of people on your live streams. Well, this is our first live stream, Stone Bender. So, yeah,
You
thanks.
get it. One guy's on to give you shit.
Yeah, so far getting ripped by Stone Bender. Love it. Okay,
That's great.
so get it. Thank you for being in the comments, Stone Bender, on our first live video.
That's
Telling
really cool. Thank you,
uh,
Stone Bender. Classy human.
oh, and we got another one too. Trev Falls.
Oh
Hey,
wow.
Jordo and Joe.
Trev.
And Trev is also on an album, but we're going to get to that here shortly. Hey, buddy. Thanks for commenting, Trev. All right. Let's start here. Jordan Venn. Okay, so I just want to ask a little bit, Jordan. Let's just before we get into this album, I want to kind of go back a little ways. Where you started, where you got your where did you get going with your music? When did you start playing guitar? When did you start writing songs? That sort of stuff. Or where'd you
One
get
at a
started with
time.
guitar? Okay, guitar. Where'd you get started with guitar?
Started playing. I took lessons from Dennis Olson. Started when I was 8, and then actually, you know what? This is a great kind of tie into the record here. Uh, I wasn't very good. I wasn't that interested in it. Dennis was a great teacher, but I was a bad student. And then when I was 11, my sister's friend Dave Marr made me uh, a he made me a cassette, and the first thing on the cassette was "Smells Like Teen Spirit." First song on the cassette was "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and he showed me power chords. And he's like, "These are what power chords are," and he's like, This is how you play this song." And I spent like the next week learning the entire album, Nevermind, and that's kind of how I got my start in playing rock guitar for real.
And that
Uh,
was where were you taking lessons? Which city?
this was in Port Alberni. Yeah, I think Dave is now the principal of the school, the high school in Port Alberni. Interestingly enough,
That's not
uh,
bad. Fort Alberni's probably got like 30,000 people, I'm assuming, somewhere around there.
he has more like 20 now. It used to be 30,000 back in the day, but I guess it's growing again. It like took a steep decline once they were exporting logs. Once Warehouser got in there and started messing shit up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it then they are now out of there, and I'm sure there's still American companies that are owning the logs that are coming out, and I think they're still going down to the States. But now people are retiring there as well. It's one of the cheaper spots on the island still, I think. Although I
So,
think that's changed now too. So
and then when did you first join a band? What was your first band when did you first join a band?
first band. Uh I used to play a guy I know, Adam Harrington. So Trevor's dad was my band teacher in junior high, and he would let me and I don't know who played bass with us. or if we had a bass player, but he'd let us into the band room at lunchtime and we'd jam, me and Adam. We'd play Nirvana. Yeah, I guess that was 13 or 14. I probably had my first band. So right around the time that this summer of 94, all the grunge stuff was happening at this time, right? I was properly into it.
And then Jordan moved on to uh, Vancouver Island University. I think it was Malaspina College
Miles
at the
being at
time,
the time. Yeah, that's right.
and joined the jazz program there, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Jazz program.
And
Tristan Clark.
and that's where you kind of started to form the members for this album here.
Yeah, that's right. Let's Party by the Fine Swiss Timepieces.
And so yeah, that's by the Fine Swiss Timepieces. Now, for me, this is a big deal because I used to go to a ton of your shows in Nanaimo back in the day at the Queens, especially.
Yeah.
And I've got every word to every song on that album memorized. I've listened to it a ton. I even DJ'd. I even played at DJing this past weekend
Oh yeah.
for a
Which one did
second.
you play?
I played a bit of Star World.
Okay.
I kind of
Class.
it's kind of good on the Newmark mixer. Star World's a really easy one to f around with. Also,
Right.
yeah,
People
um,
like that one. First, I still
yeah,
get occasionally people will say, "Hey, can you play Star World?" When
yeah.
I'm out
So
somewhere. I'm like,
so
no, I can't. I don't remember it at all.
so this is a great album. Who was on this album again?
It's Tristan Clark. It's Jim Bennett. It's Tyson Finley and it's Nate McKay. There it is. Yeah. I made that on Paint, Microsoft Paint.
You're really good with that Microsoft Paint.
I'm like pixely kind of art stuff. Did you have you seen all uh the
Yeah,
pixel that I did for all the as well when my back was out?
we're gonna be commenting on those a little bit as
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
And then so Jordan ended up leaving Nanaimo or leaving Vancouver Island for Toronto,
Yeah.
and formed a few bands there over your time in Toronto. What kind of bands were you in at first out there? I think Green Gods is maybe one of them.
Yeah, Green Gods was actually what's interesting about that. I'm like such a weird talker when what's interesting about that is the bass player on that also appears on the new record. Uh so no, Tristan Clark, that was I think a brainchild of Tristan Clark, the Green Gods. I can't remember all the details exactly, but I do remember us crossing the road across from the Mississauga Longamoquade going to the park on break. We were both teaching there. He's like, always wanted to name a record rock and roll charcuterie. And I'm like, what's charcuterie? He's like, it's like a bunch of meat. And so I'm like, okay, let's do it. So we got Marco Sternelli um and Tyler
Tyler.
Emo,
Yeah.
yeah, to play bass on that. And then we actually like I probably played more shows in a smaller amount of time with that band than any other band that I've had in Toronto. We played a lot and we sounded fucking awesome. Just because, it's like what was on the record was what we were playing. And I mean, Tyler and Marco just have such wild kind of pocket and they really gelled together, and Tristan's such a beast. It was just like kind of an easy no-brainer clutch-esque band, right? So
It's
stoner metal.
it's funny because that CD, it looks like salami, right, or
Yeah,
charcuterie. But
that's right. Yeah.
it, when I first saw that, I thought of that Ween Craters from the Sack, which is like a close up of one of their ball sacks or whatever, is the cover of it.
Oh,
I remember sending Tristan a song, "Sucking Blood from the Devil's Dick" off of Craters from the Sack, and anyways, he's like, I hate it. Every time that the reminder comes up for that song or whatever, it's just a giant picture of this guy's sack.
yeah,
Anyways, a little
it's no
sidetrack
good.
there.
No
And then
chocolate and cheese.
so the solo albums. What is the order of your solo records? Because you've this is now, I believe, number 5. Is that right?
This is the fourth Slizneys record,
Okay.
which
So
is like technically it's sort of solo, it's sort of not, right? So I
right.
mean, it's
Well, yeah.
definitely a band. but I was just like, it's the band that I write for essentially. Uh,
So, so
like,
we'll talk about the members here in a second, but
yeah,
what are the albums in order?
Certified Organic 2013. Yeah, nice. Shonchon, Shinchin. I'm gonna butcher that. Uh, the That's the second one, 2015. That one didn't do as well as I had hoped it would do, and then I didn't write for a while because I was like kind of bummed out. And
Oh,
then Life is a Shipping Lane was 2022, I think. Because I'd had the idea. I had Life is a Highway in my head while doing the dishes, and I'm like, life's not a highway. It's bullshit. It's a shipping lane. It's like that whole record is just pure cynicism. And like even more so than the one that I wrote entirely about the Canadian government, with each track is named after a part of the Chinese government.
oh,
Uh, but yeah, that is me at my most cynical. Probably that whole record. It's a mid pandemic record. And then this one, Magic Words 2024. Friday the 13th, 2024. All right.
booyah! And
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about who's featured on the album before we get into production. Who are your bandmates on this album?
On this album, it's slightly different than the full band because I wanted to make it a Nirvana-esque sort of trio or a Stone Temple Pilots-esque quartet sound. And so it's just me and Trevor Falls, who drums on all the records. Not the original drummer of the band. Kevin Halley was the original drummer. This is back in 2003. Devin Henderson, who was the original bass player of the band, but he just like he tours all over the place. He's super busy all the time, and he's just too busy to finish it up. So we said, okay, let's get somebody in to finish the last four tracks, and that's Tyler Emo, who's was in the Green Gods, fabulous bass player. Had just opened up his new studio, Ghost Town Studios or Ghost
Okay.
Town Studio, and so fired those off to me and uh, sent him away.
So yeah, let's get into the production. Where was this album made? Who produced?
So with most Slizneys records now, minus the first one was a bit different. But this one, we go to a guy named John Dinsmore. It's Lincoln County Social Club. John's a bass player himself. He has this great studio called Lincoln County Social Club. It's like two floors. The control room's in the basement. The main floor has like a bunch of old like barnwood and like cow skulls, and he's cool vintage drums there. And so we went there. Usually the process of what happens when we make these records is I go and record the demos with MIDI. The drums sound terrible, but I send them to Trevor Falls and go, learn this. And he goes, actually, you can't play this because you would need four arms to play this shit. Uh, and then he'll send me a few memes about guitar players writing drum parts. And then he works something out that sounds really, really good. And then we'll go into the studio together and he'll bang them off. I think this one we finished in probably about 6 hours total. Um, and then after that, I send it to Devo, and in this case, the four last ones for Tyler, and they send those back, and then I record after I've like it already has guitars on it, but then I'll re-record the guitars so they're not scratched, and re-record the vocals so they're not scratched, and so everything sounds like it's all played together at the same time. And that's this one though, we were actually part of a few songs in this one were about the I wrote in anticipation of us possibly going to Bat House Studios in Kingston, where the Tragically Hip recorded a bunch of their records, including Trouble. So which is my one of my, top five all-time favorite records, and probably Phantom Power's not far off. So yeah, I wrote Ghosts, kind of about my anticipation with that experience.
Okay.
And I wrote The Universe is Altered uh, shortly after that as well, which is just basically about, kind of how I felt about Gord Downey dying. The kind of the surprise of being like actually sad for somebody that I, had only met a couple times ever. And, he's really great to me or whatever. But it was like Tristan Clark texted me the news, hey, Gord Downey died this morning. I was like, oh, and it's pretty bummed out all morning. I was at work, and I think I wrote Tristan back, man, I'm actually pretty bummed out about this. And he's like, yeah, me too. But I mean, he meant so much to so many people. So now, anytime you have something like that, you gain some empathy for, people like the people that were sad when Michael Jackson died. I was like, you didn't know him. Who cares? Still got his music. He wasn't putting out anything good, but I mean, Gord was still putting out cool stuff. So
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows
Prince.
what would have
Prince is
happened?
another one. Another one
Yeah.
where it's big bummer.
Big bummer, yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge Prince fan, but I can appreciate that people love Prince. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the
Well,
theme here. What was the
sure. I
inspiration?
should I should just mention after because I didn't finish telling you everything. Rick Salt, who I've got
Okay.
to has been involved in basically every record I've ever done.
So
At a
who's
certain
Rick? Where's Rick?
Rick Salt is a Nanaimo engineer, mixing and mastering. He has Mountain View Studio in Nanaimo. He was one of the guys at the Queens who did sound pretty often. Him and Richard Knott uh, were two soundmen that would pretty much always be doing the sound at the Queens. And we actually did that entire Let's Party record. That's why it sounds so good. We did it in studio at just Rick's old studio just below the Queens for that one. And we recorded everything there. We recorded everything live, I think, as well. And then just tracked afterwards. But that was a nice time in my life. You were probably around for that, hey, when we were doing that, and then we would go to an Nanaimo River every day afterwards, go to Tropical Paradise,
I
pick
can't.
you up.
Yeah. 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 I was around. I was around
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. I totally remember that time as obviously being one of the funnest times. I look back on those days with
yeah.
great love.
I hate to be one of those guys that peaked in his 20s, but I fucking was.
We had it so good. We didn't know it at
Yeah,
the time.
I know. It
Um,
is kind of sad thinking back now, but yeah.
well, let's get into are there any more credits on the album, or do we want to get into a bit
Yeah.
of the theme? Okay,
So
go ahead.
Rick mixed it, and then I got a local guy, Noah Mintz, to master it at Lacquer Channel Studios, and he did a bang up job as well. So,
Killer.
but yeah, Rick is I love working with Rick. He's kind of a genius or whatever. So it's good. And
Sweet.
Noah's a like super like highly respected gold record kind of toting dude. Did did well by us on it. So
He's the guy to know on Vancouver Island, 100%.
Rick is, yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
Richard Knott's a hell of a guy too. Great
Oh, I
guy.
love Richard. Yeah,
I
he's
think he
really
did
cool.
sound for Trooper. Is that right?
Oh, I don't probably. I'm sure they've both done sound for a ton of different acts. But
Right.
did he tour with Trooper? Richard Knott?
I feel like he did. I'm pretty sure he
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
I always liked Richard's stage mixes. I like either one of those guys having them in the booth there was like pretty awesome.
Yeah. Big.
Also, they're sound weirdos, but they're not shitty sound weirdos. And like, I don't know, I've played a lot of places where the sound men are kind of, I don't know,
Opt,
4chan-esque, if you will,
obtuse.
obtuse. Yeah. So no, those guys are always fun to work with. They're a bit of a party.
All right, let's talk a bit about
Okay.
what are the themes behind the album here, George? Because that was kind of you were letting me know about the album a few months ago,
Yeah,
and you said you had some pretty strong themes. So let's talk a bit about that and why that's important to you.
sure. Well, I mean, the whole idea of the record on its own, the concept of the record, if you will, is it's just a an homage to uh, the grunge era, basically, and more specifically, I really wanted to put something out in the summer of '94 or the summer of 2024, which would be the 30th anniversary of 1994, which I personally think is uh, you know if not the best, at least one of the best summers of music. And not just in terms of the music, but also the music videos were really cool that were coming out at the time as well. It was just a fun time. Lots of really cool records that came out, and the good records start to finish, right? So yeah.
And man, you really
Um,
pick up those 94 vibes with a few different spots. And I'll
yeah.
point those out. I've listened to the whole album and made notes on each song as well.
Okay.
And just kind of, you know, it's your sound. And there's obviously some influences and stuff like that, or some homages and along the way. It's an incredible album, and I'm loving it. I've been listening to it quite frequently, and there's some bangers on there and some songs that I want to go back to lots, or like
Awesome.
situations too, in certain songs where I can't wait to play
Okay.
these songs on the way to different spots and
Nice.
all
Nice.
that jazz.
Super happy
Um,
to hear that, obviously.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
we're gonna get immersive here.
this is the best technology I've ever seen. It's kind of nailed how big we are in comparison to each other as well, I think.
Oh
You're
yeah,
like you're like taller by a little bit. My head's a little bit rounder.
I think it's just the angle of your camera, but
Oh, maybe. But my
yeah.
head is kind of big, right? I kind of have a big head. Everybody who knows me says so. Um,
So we're gonna go through a little bit here, and I've also got some album covers as well that I'll try and get in the picture as well.
okay.
Just give me 1 second. So George's also, like we said, this is a new album out today, Friday the 13th. We're in September 2024. The album's Magic Words. It's M, and it's one of those at symbols,
Yeah.
GIC,
Yeah.
W, one of those little asterisks,
Yeah, that's right.
RDS,
Yeah.
Magic Words. Tell me a bit about the cover here, George.
So I went on to one of those internet work sites where you can hire an artist
Okay.
to do work, and I looked around for a bit and I made a few queries with people, and some of them seemed like body, like bot-ish. What would you say of the quality of a bot? And
Oh,
anyways,
body.
yeah, yeah, they just didn't seem like they were a real human being
Right.
on those work websites. And with AI and everything out right now, I'm trying to, specifically trying to hire somebody uh, to get away from the whole AI thing. I don't know if the artist used AI in creating this image. Uh, I have a friend that says who's like in graphic arts that said possibly they did, possibly they didn't. But obviously, I'm still hiring a person, so whatever. And she, like any changes that I wanted, she made pretty much to exactly what I was saying. So
It's very
pretty good job, I think. Um, but it's a digital freehand by an Italian artist named Lorraine S. And yeah, so there it is. There's a two Easter eggs in this thing. Uh, and the first is that I'm supporting my fellow left-handers by making the witch left-handed. Yeah, that's a big detail for me. And then
You're
if
a
you,
lefty, you're southpaw?
yeah, I'm a southpaw.
God.
Always have been.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
And then the other one is the 90s. Oh, I'm pointing to the screen like you can see my hand. There's a 90s choker a 90s style choker. If you were to zoom in and look at her neck there, that's like,
Okay,
those
I can
ones
do
that,
that
yeah, which I like. That's yeah,
right
that's
here.
yeah, which I thought was like a hilarious idea because it's an homage to the era. So, you know,
Beautiful. Sounds
yeah,
good. Now, for
there
each
it is.
track here, we're going to be listening to little bits here as well. George's also created these as well. Where did you create those on Microsoft Paint, George?
No, there's just a pixel art, I think it's called pixelart.com, where you can just draw pixel art. So I looked for Microsoft Paint, but I couldn't really find an online one. So this one was good. It was free. I probably have somehow fucked up their terms of service, but I don't know. But yeah, these ones are I like doing this stuff. They're all oh you can see there's I see on the end of Jordan there. I'm missing the shadow bit. But what's happening here?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
That was weird.
we're back in the loop.
I don't think it's actually showing this on the internet, like
No?
showing it like this. So we might have to ditch that.
Oh no. That's too bad. This is such a good effect. We're just for people that cannot see or are seeing something other than we intend. We're sitting in a movie theater, uh, side by side, through the magic, and the screen is
Oh
behind.
shoot.
Oh, you hide that.
What was
Don't
that?
want people to see your desktop. Oh,
Whoa.
kidding. Private files. No, there was nothing incriminating on there, I don't think. But so you don't think this is working for the?
Nah, I don't think it was. Did it show it? Like, look at this, your screen of us on the internet.
Yeah, I'll look. Give me a sec here. Yeah, it's working.
Oh, it was?
It's working right now.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
We're sitting here.
Okay. Hold on.
Okay, Trev Falls says yeah, it's working.
Oh, okay. Shoot. All right. Well,
Okay,
back to that.
sweet.
Okay.
That's good because we paid like $200,000 for these effects.
Ah, shoot. Here we go with this again. Stop.
Oh no! Oh, now we're back to
Um,
two
this
middle-aged men having a tough time with the internet.
okay. No, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it here.
All
Let's
right.
give it a sec. Share.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Gotta figure out where the heck that is.
Rockstar Games launcher. Do you have a PC?
It's my kid.
Okay. That's
Um, this is. Hold on.
okay.
Um,
Okay, that's it seems to be on a bit of a lag
bit of a
for
what?
when it comes on and off. Seems to be on a bit of a lag for when it comes on and off.
Okay. One sec.
Is there anything I can do?
Hold my hand. Oh, there we go. Oh, come on.
Oh, you're just like flexing on your cool tunes.
Is that what? I don't even know what it's showing right now.
It's Jurassic. Oh, it's you know what it is? It's YouTube.
Oh,
Some Cyrillic Eastern European guy putting J5 on there.
I think what if I do? Okay, let's try this again. Let's go
You guys want to look at
screens.
some fossils? This is a trilobite pygadium. That's pretty cool, hey? No eyes though, but I do have one. This one's from Morocco. Probably has some glue action on it, maybe a little bit fake, but it has some eyes on there. That's pretty cool. If any of you guys will recall from Richard Forte's trilobite eyewitness to evolution, trilobites were one of the first, if not the first, animal with eyes. Not just arthropods with eyes, but animal with eyes. That's pretty
Okay,
cool. All right, we got this.
I think it's okay. We're good. Okay,
Okay, brilliant.
thanks for waiting, people. Just gonna pull this one screen out of here.
I mean, they got to go on a bit of a trilobite fossil journey with me, so
Pull this
it's not
out.
all bad.
Thank you, Trev, for letting us know.
Okay.
Okay, let's have a little listen here to
Closest
the
point.
let's have a little listen to the first track. I
All right.
think this should work. Let me know if you can hear it, Jordan.
Yeah. Bring it up a little. Yeah, it's getting louder. There we go. Thanks. I realized quite a bit later after I wrote this that it was very similar to Lady Madonna. I think, is that the name of the Beatles track?
The Beatles track?
Yeah, it's the same kind of chord progression. I mean, it's just, you know, one going to a fourth. Yeah.
So just a little preview of that song. I just want to.
Yeah.
I got a couple notes about it. Same old thing that we always do. In the middle of this life, it makes me think of work. Honestly, it's sort of like that feeling, the pending doom that I used to get when I went to work doing construction, where it's okay. Here we go. Here, same thing again. That's just for me.
Yeah.
And I love how the lyrics repeat. It almost creates like a bit of irony at the end or whatever. I like when artists do that.
Yeah, I like doing that. I like doing that in songs, having little kind of like things in the song that echo the song in their usage. Is that the right thing to say? I don't know.
Yeah. Tell me a
Yeah.
little yeah, the music I always think of Beck, Dead Weight. The music drags, the music drags, the music drags at the end of the song.
Okay.
I
And
love
he's
that.
dragging on it.
He's dragging it.
What record is that off of?
It's off of the Life Less Ordinary soundtrack between Odelay and Mutations. And
Okay.
I think it finished number 2 on Joepinionated list on this channel. So check that out, my back list. Got a
Joe,
list
can
of 50.
I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
Does it look like I'm looking at you right now on the
Kind of.
screen?
Yeah, it kind of does.
Okay, cool. So yeah, this one is about it's kind of like it's about, I mean, like it's like a lot of my songs about humans kind of fucking up, not able to get out of our own way, doing the same old thing that we always do, which is, you know, like often the wrong thing for us is it primarily. So
you want to try and bump it?
Here we go. Oh. Very good.
Oh wow. We're going way. Okay, guys. So those are my notes on the first song.
But yeah, it can be about any loop in one's life. But yeah, primarily it's like, here we go again. You know, the same old shit. Same old shit that we always do.
And not all of my questions are going to be necessarily
what is this song about.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fine. I have answers except for Promise.
Except for Promise?
Yeah, I don't know what Promise is about.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. Just gonna load up the next track because I have them all here. The second track's called Let Me Down.
Let Me Down. Yeah.
And put it in here. Don't know the order. Okay, everything's backwards. Cool. Can you hear that, Jordan?
I can hear it loud and clear.
Love that, George.
Yeah, it's like stand-up comedians that did impressions in like the 80s, and they're like, what would happen if Arnold Schwarzenegger had a baby with Sylvester Stallone or whatever? This is like, what would happen if Stone Temple Pilots and Alice in Chains got together? I think it might go a little something like this. Uh,
Allison
so
Chains and Stone Temple Pilots.
yeah, I mean both are big influences on this whole record, but this song specifically, I would say, is like very much both bands kind of together. Maybe like
Sonically impressive. Like I just love the chorus.
yeah, it sounds big. Okay, very good job.
Um, so there's a little taste of that one. Yeah, I just love the harmonies and the chorus there. Just put like sonically very impressive. The Let Me Down, the chorus part especially.
Yeah,
How many layers you got on that for your vocals, George?
vocals. The first one is 2, the second one is 3, and the last one is 4.
Yeah,
So
okay.
4 harmonies. I can't remember if I doubled them or not. I think I might have doubled them on that one.
Man, it
So
sounds
let's
so
see.
good. I love the production on this album. And like I've been listening to the whole thing on my headphones. I was listening to it on my like TV stereo for a bit and then
Yeah,
listening to them on my headphones or whatever. It's just I don't know what that's called. Where is that where it's like different parts appear in different like areas, you know? It's like the band
it's like
surrounding you.
it's panned,
Yeah.
pan stereoscopically panned.
I
Yeah,
love
this
how some of the guitars too, like when you bring in like the second guitar towards the end of the tracks on a few of them or whatever, when that comes in and it's almost in a different spot and just
yeah,
super heavy.
yeah, it's rad. It's so that's like again, Rick is putting them in different spots, which is pretty nifty.
That's Rick Salt.
Yeah, yeah, that's Rick Salt. With these every single track on this record uh is double guitar. So you record one guitar part and then you record the exact same guitar part. So it's 2 performances of the same part, and then one's put in this headphone and one's put in this headphone, and then they can, with the pen, you can change it around to make it in different spots or whatever. So it's always 2 guitars playing one part. And this whole record, I think only the uh I love World War One more than Rome, which I still love.
Ooh, yeah,
Uh
yeah, yeah. Don't
and
don't get into that one yet.
no, I
But
know, but that one and The Universe is Altered is the only one that has multiple guitar tracks. All of them are just like one guitar track throughout the whole thing, right? Like layered guitar tracks, which have different parts.
okay.
Like this one, there's only ever the lick, like the do 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 do. Um, there's not like 2 parts kind of counterpunktually happening there, which is like I a lot of my other stuff. Like first of all the other records have 5 or 6 guys playing 2 or 3 parts all at once. Pretty layered shit is what I like to do in music. But this one, because I wanted it to be like a Mudhoney or like a Nirvana or whatever. I just wanted it to kind of have that one part. You go play it live, what's on the record is what you're going to hear, because we do want to do a show, hopefully. So
Absolutely, man.
we shall
I,
see.
I hope you do. So the third track on the album is called Influent.
Yeah,
And I had to look up influent. It's a flowing in, but there's a bit of a play on words going on as well.
there is. Yeah, you know me, I love to make up a word. And so the usage on this word that I'm using is so if you're affluent,
Sorry.
have if you have affluence, you're affluent, and this is if you have influence, you're influent. The real world word is influential, but it just doesn't work, with the meter. So, and I probably forgot that was a word when I wrote it as well. So, yeah, ye who are influential. It's about the influencers that are out there that you see in you know,
Sorry.
the real world who are like chronically self-obsessed. Um,
Right.
the selfie class, as it were. So it's kind of, the reason that I use the like Shakespearean pronouns in it is like to add the gravitas of how important taking a picture at sunset with your mojito is. So
Let's get some subscribers out there. Hit that like button if you guys are watching.
ash
Some
it.
more some more comments in the comments there as well. Um, let's go. Yeah, we're still lacking some comments, but anyways, okay. So the next track's called "Influent," and the who are influent. I love the lyrics of this one. Or can you tell me a little bit more? Sorry, is there a theme behind "Let Me Down" before we leave that one behind?
Well, you said no politics, not just
Be on,
it's
just better.
the main idea of this is I'm not like a flag waver by any means, and I'm not like a Trudeau hater
Yeah,
to the extent that some people are.
yeah.
Uh, the thing that really pissed me off in his first term was when he promised proportional representation, and
Hmm.
then they put out this weird survey on the internet that was like, do you want fair and free elections, or would you like to vote from home? Like just these weird false dichotomy questions. Like every single question was like that too. And then at the end, they were like, well, it's official. Canadians don't want proportional representation. It's just like, so because they realize that, like the power vacuum is held by them and the conservatives, and it's, a 3-1.
Yeah,
Um, and so why would they want to change that? Why would they want to let other voices in to lead at all, give up any power when they don't have to? Which I think is kind of dirty personally. Uh, like there's a lot of grievances against Trudeau that I think, don't really hold any actual water, but that one is. And then what's coming is your fault is by not doing that, he's probably going to give, the uh Parliament over to a turd like Poilievre, right? Like it's just like that's what's going to happen. It's the same thing that always happens after, you know, 16 to 20 years of liberal rule.
yeah.
Um, and liberal is doing a lot of heavy lifting a lot of the time too.
In
That
Canada, and I mean,
yeah, in
here in
Canada.
Canada, if you're not from Canada, one thing to note is that our most conservative politicians would be far left politicians in the states.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is absolutely true.
Like if like for instance, if someone was to say to run on, hey, we're not going to have social medicine anymore, or you
Oh,
know,
the host.
there's no way in hell they would come close to winning anything. Canada actually voted on the greatest Canadian of all time. Now it's my vote goes to Terry Fox, obviously, but at the same time, the guy who won was Tommy Douglas, the guy who brought in healthcare in Canada,
Yeah,
politician. And
right.
so, anyways, people, yeah, we're pretty liberal up here, or we're kind of all for that big
Except
beat up
for except for
democracy.
Alberta.
I'm
Sorry,
from
Alberta.
Alberta. No, no, no.
Are you
I
from Alberta
I'm
originally?
I'm an Edmontonian, man. I'm
I
an
didn't know
Oiler.
that.
I'm a diehard
I
Oilers
love
fan.
the Oilers so much.
Man, I used to live in the Evergreen Trailer Park, the one that got hit by the big tornado back in '87.
Well, shit.
And yeah, but anyways, yeah, we're getting a little off topic here. The
Yeah,
next
yeah.
song, the
Let's
next
not
song,
get into.
the next song is
I do think
Influent.
Poilievre is a turd, though. That's all. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I think they're all kind of turds, to be
They're all
honest
kind
with
of
you.
turds.
So I'm on
Yeah,
everybody's side with this one.
yeah, yeah.
We got weed
Uh,
legalized, and
that's like, yeah, that's like way to go on that one. That was a good one.
that was the most selfish thing I ever voted for, was to legalize weed. Anyways, okay, next
Do you
in what?
think it's possible they'll repeal it? The conservatives when they come into power on the next one?
No,
Okay, good.
that's like repealing healthcare, in my opinion.
I guess so.
Here's a taste of influence.
It catches you perfectly, like the horizon captures infinity. There's a frame, it's a gateway, distortion ripples of reality. I beckon to you to come through with me. Oh, use your influence, ye who are influent. Thy currency currently, oh, one and current. Oh, what influence thou influent, ye who are influent, thine influence. Surely the summer
IQ number
is
one.
soon to abandon us. Use the time you have.
What?
As that haiku number one, this is haiku number two.
Oh shoot!
The second verse is
Shoot.
two haikus.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
Distortion ripples of reality.
we missed it.
Okay, you might have, but people can go if they're really interested.
I smell a living ocean. Thrust beyond my sight. Distortion ripples
I was watching Shogun when I wrote this one. There's a lot of great. I don't think they actually go into haiku at all in it, but there's a few different Japanese uh, poetry uh, forms in it that kind of a part of the show that I was like, oh, that's so rad. I just love Japanese poetry so much. And I'm like, I'm gonna throw that into this song. I think it's kind of fun.
My note was that it captures you perfectly. Like I just sort of, I don't know. A lot of this song just only you could have wrote it, and it just sort of, I don't know. Are there little digs in there?
Like it's the entire song is just digs.
Okay,
Yeah, the entire song. Um, it's super facetious, super tongue in cheek. The whole thing,
right.
satirical. It's adding gravitas where there is none. Yeah, that's my brand, right? Is writing something that you know is seems to be like, oh, how pretty, but it's really just making fun of shit.
I
I'm glad
love
you
the
caught on to that.
so were the themes as well for the song structure. Like 1994, I noticed that I think the longest song is 4 minutes. Also, like I mean the solos are kind of short and sweet, but they're big,
Yeah,
and I really like that. That's sort of, I think that's kind of almost new for your albums, just the way that you did the solos and stuff like that. Were you thinking about that going into this?
absolutely. Yeah, this was normally I get Tristan Clark or Tristan Armstrong to play solos on the other records, right?
Yeah.
Those like all those records have just amazing solos by those guys. But I wanted to like the first and Here We Go, for instance, that solo is like just a bunch of like weird kind of garbled, like whatever. That I stole that directly from In Bloom, just that
Okay.
kind of idea. And that's what yeah, with this it was like stylistically I didn't want these big plotting solos. I wanted really crisp short solos, but still have guitar solos in them because I think
Right.
that's era appropriate. Although like I do deeply love Pearl Jam, and I think maybe having a big long solo at the end of a song might be a good nod. But I mean I do that on every other record basically, right? So that's kind of like a Mike McCready nod. All the rest of the records. So I thought, hey, why do that? What can you tell what this one is from the?
Yeah, it's lasagna.
Yeah,
It comes up in the lyrics quite a bit.
Yeah.
But let me see what I wrote down here. Case of the Mondays. That's just a lyric from a song.
Mhm.
World is a nightmare. I feel safe here, safe in my bubble. The bridge guitars, I get like a collective soul almost feeling
Oh,
from
really? No, I hadn't even
just
considered
the
Collective Soul.
the sound. Okay, you hadn't. Okay. But then
Yeah,
I was like, oh, perfect. Like 1994, 95. I think that album
right.
came out in 95.
The one after the Jerky Boys movie,
The
because there was
blue, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
with gel on it.
with gel. Yeah, yeah, that's right. You know what? You're not the first person that said that my music is reminiscent of Collective Soul.
Well, it's
I
not
just don't.
really. It's just the tone. I heard a bit. I only heard it on this song, and I
Yeah.
heard just it's almost just a little bit about the tone on the chunky guitars, right? You know,
Okay.
Collective Soul does that like gel, like the riffage
Yeah,
and
yeah.
gel.
Yeah, you know what? That probably features heavily in my the Tea Party did a kind of cool guitar. Like three guitar things that I think are really cool from the era are like the chickas on well, no, four actually. Chickas on Nirvana. All throughout that first record, there's just chickas everywhere. The chickas on,
What's a chica?
like when you're playing guitar and you lift your
Oh, chica
fingers
chica.
up. Yeah, chickas.
Okay.
Creep, Radiohead.
Yeah.
Um, that chicka is kind of like
Yeah.
something that I was thinking about here. Yeah, the Tea Party, what was that? Where it has like the harmonic, that song, this is a one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
What the hell's that song
fire,
called?
fire in my mind or something like that. I don't.
No. God, if you know it, put
This
it in the
how the
comments.
love stays
You,
divine.
yeah, divine. Something
Okay,
divine.
yeah.
The
Yeah, yeah.
grand divine.
Oh, is that what it's called?
I think so.
Never know what songs are called, but
Is it that
no,
one?
that's a different one. That's a different one. This was the one that I think it's like fire in my, no, maybe not. I don't know. I can somebody
Okay, if you know
put
it,
that here.
put it
Yeah.
in the comments, please.
But like I like that kind of like weird harmonic like artifacts of the guitar, not actually notes themselves kind of stuff. I guess I mean those are tones, but they're just not, typical. They're artifacts of distortion and standing waves and whatnot. So, but was that the four? Did I mention all four things that I like? Oh yeah, and then in gel. Is that gel? Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a cool riff. I like riffs like that.
Color me any fashion.
Is it color me in any fashion? That's a great lyric. Wow.
Uh,
Into some Collective Soul.
you should, yeah, get into some more Christian hard rock.
Yeah.
So the next song is song 4 is Nightmare.
Nightmare. Yeah, did you catch what that was to the side in the
Cat's Paw.
yeah, it's Cat's Paw. Okay, good.
Yeah, I caught it.
So you know what the song is about basically? It's about Garfield. Catch the ode to Garfield.
Didn't catch that.
Yeah, no, it's completely well, it's about my cat too, but like I use Garfield as an avatar for all of cats because he's kind of an every cat.
That's for
got
the
a
case
case
of the
of Mondays.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've got an odious feeling. We'll reference to Odie there.
I'm alone in this world now. I've got an odious feeling. I've got a mind to get on the
So I wrote down at the bridge is where I hear the Collective Soul tones.
Okay.
where all cradle is
What is the breakdown on this one?
Not there.
This right here? Bridge will be like touch screen. Got a toggle screen.
It's that right there. It's that chunk right there.
Oh yeah.
Need a little gel.
Great.
Not quite.
Wait, but yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. It's
I don't
heavy.
know. Yeah,
All right.
I love it. The thing with go get this album on whatever streaming platform you're using, Apple, all those sort of things. Support the Jordan Venn and the Slizneys. The songs get better as they go. Like, I mean, the songs, there's a great build in almost every single track. And I just find that you're just kind of rewarded as the song goes along. So when you're listening to the albums, let us know too. Put something in the comments as
Yeah, every song
well.
I've ever written is a triangle. Start small, goes ends big.
Yeah. Oops.
Oh,
So that was
we're gonna finish that
Nightmare.
here? Yeah, that's Nightmare.
Okay, let's go. Oh, just 1 sec. To the next track, which is one of my faves for sure. And that's Charlatan. You want to talk a little bit about this one before we get it going, George?
Sure. It's this one is you know, like about charlatans basically. I'd it's written Tone You Rotten in what is it? Tone You Rotten Huckster You or You Rotten Hustler? I don't know, my brain's not so good anymore. But it's about yeah, Tony Robbins is you thought it was about Trump, which actually kind of a few different kind of known charlatans you know originally were going to be mentioned, but this one I just watched this Stephen Woodward video on Tony doing just saying some dumb shit that he kind of took apart, and I've always kind of thought the guy was a bit of a snake. So yeah, this one's basically about him or anybody like him, you know, like
Yeah.
motivational. I don't have a problem with motivational speakers, but people that tell you they have the answer and they obviously don't have the answer. Like maybe
Visionaries.
we have visionaries. Some people really like them, or like you know any evangelical mega church leader or televangelists or whatever. They're all just kind of rotten people, right? They're
Yeah.
super and they don't care. They're making omelets and they don't care how many eggs they break. So
yeah, preaching, you can a rich man. What's that rich man eye of the needle camel thing? Do you remember from your church days?
Yeah, it's the rich man has has about the same chances of
going to heaven
as a camel does going through the eye of a needle, I believe.
Something like that. It's just, but yeah, I mean, that's really where I have my problems. It's just these guys with their big fancy jets and rings and all that sort of stuff. That's on the church
$5,000 suits.
Yeah, they're not good represented. I'm not dissing.
There's no humility in it at all.
No, yeah, there's not.
Yeah,
but Tony Robbins. I mean, I'm in a sales position at work and stuff like that. So there's always people, that go down that avenue. The Tony Robbins thing. All right, I got to go to the Tony Robbins thing. Oh, I'm busy today. I'm doing a Tony Robbins seminar for the next few days, and they're dancing in their living rooms, watching us on TV and all this sort of stuff. And it's just like, I don't buy into that shit at all. No. And when there are really big brains out there and, great, there are modern philosophers, but
yeah,
for sure. But
really
I don't need
but
this guy to
tell you they have the answer.
Right.
They'll say, here's some knowledge, here's some wisdom, but seek out different sources. I don't know. Yeah, and the thing too is like the thing I really don't like about it is they're preying on desperation. Like all the people that attend these things that are, spending thousands and thousands of dollars. It's just like people that can't afford this shit, people that are desperate for something.
Yeah.
Whereas if the sexy truth is like grind, don't spend money, don't look for a single answer, and like maybe you can get out of debt or maybe you can't because society's so fucked up that you're kind of, like you're you're in a society that's kind of built against you once you are at a certain level. Like, not to say you can't move up in society or whatever, but there's a lot of luck involved and there's a lot of, being placed, and there's just like there's certain people that are in lower income brackets that are just never going to get anywhere because of their manners. It doesn't matter how hard they work. It's just they're not what society views as successful, so they'll never be successful, no matter how good they
Yeah.
are, how bad they are, or whatever. It's
Just,
just
yeah. Don't
it's a
believe the
fixed.
don't believe the
Yeah.
hype. It's a sequel. My favorite Flava Flav line. Um,
Okay.
person falsely claiming to have special knowledge is a charlatan. Uh,
Right.
Deceiver of the simpletons, one of my favorite lines there in the song. The
Yeah.
drums, the drums really stand out to me on this song. Uh, and so that's Trevor Falls.
That's Trevor Falls. Yeah, those toms sound huge. Hey, there's that
Yeah.
occasionally, which I wonder, like, uh, did you buy the laser off Tristan Clark?
Which one?
The Daytona?
The what?
The Daytona?
Yes,
Who owned, yeah, did that have a big sub in it?
it did for a
I'd love
week.
to hear, yeah, I'd love to hear though that Tom come through some big sub. Just like yeah.
Yes, yeah, that stereo sounded amazing. My buddy Tristan Clark, who's on this from time to time. His band is called the Tristones, and Jordan and Tristan have worked together on quite a few albums, starting with this one here, the Fine Swiss Timepieces out of Nanaimo, and Jordan and Tristan wrote some songs on Tristan's latest album called Camaro. Also
Yeah.
check that out, great album. Um, but yeah, so Tristan I bought a car off of Tristan for the stereo. And I had the car for a week. Tristan had got this sweet stereo put into a Dodge Daytona 2.2 liter turbo. And yeah, anyways, from Madman McKay, put in this rad sub and amp. And the thing, Tristan's like a music guy. He was listening to Steely Dan and stuff like that. And it primarily, maybe a little bit of fight or it was one of the Ben Harper albums he's listened to quite a bit at the time. The one with Gold to Me. Um, and is that Fight for Your Mind?
Don't know.
Oh,
I only know little pieces of Ben Harper through Tristan Clark.
okay, you never had a Ben Harper face.
I never had a Ben Harper phase. No.
Yeah, interesting.
I
Okay.
I I mean, there's only so many hours in the day and only so much music, and I'm a gravitator, right? I find it a record that I like, and then I just listen to it until it's completely consumed.
I'm kind of like that too. It does prevent me from listening to new stuff. I'm in a group.
Yeah.
It's called the Taste of Music or Taste Like Music, and I'm in
Okay.
a Discord, and we do a bunch of music rankings, or they do. They have a channel. It's really great. Jason and
Yeah. Yeah.
Joe, and they recently did Prince, so I went through and listened to all 40 listened to 40 Prince albums.
Right.
A lot of work, man. There's a lot of
There's
filler on those things,
there's 40 Prince albums.
for real.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oof.
And I mean, musicianship, amazing.
Yeah.
Guitars, the keys, his singing.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about his drumming. I don't know where the hell I'm going
Does
with
he
this.
drum on all of them?
He doesn't drum on all of them, but he drums on quite a few of them. Quite a few, like he doesn't credit anybody on most of the 80s albums. It's
Okay. Oh,
sort of
interesting.
kind of hard to know. But yeah,
Lenny
anyway.
Lenny Kravitz drum on his records? That's just from I think Lenny Kravitz drums on his records and they're awesome.
So many.
Uh
Oh, Lenny
he
Kravitz on
just
his own albums.
yeah, on his own albums. That
Oh,
just reminds me of that.
oh, I always think of that lady. He was like the first person I remember having a lady drummer.
Yeah, yeah, he has the lady, that's it. But then I think I found out that he drums on the records, but I could be wrong about them. I know that Slash plays on Mama Said on a few tracks there. Fields of Joy.
Oh, that Daytona stereo got stolen a week after I bought the car. Uh, my girlfriend at the time left her window half open. I'm not blaming you. I forgave you a long time ago, but
Probably someone from Port Alberni stole it.
There's a rough part in Nanaimo I was living in at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's listen.
You're
Let's listen to a bit of
Nanaimo?
Charlatan. Here, let's get this going a bit. Here.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite tracks.
Don't you run hot to you? You filthy hustler, you doggone artist, you are even sicker than I'd ever imagined. Mega phony little man. People will listen to whatever you say. They're even clinging to whatever you say. It sounds good to you. Whatever you say. You think it's true, but you're a fucking charlatan. You're a human MLM, a snake oil salesman, deceiver of the simpleton, emanating positivity to those who are too blind to see. Take on faith religiously. Those people who are listening to whatever you say, they're even clinging to whatever. It sounds good to you.
Yeah, I love it. I totally thought for sure you're talking about Trump when I was first listening to this for whatever reason. I got Trump
Yeah,
on the
sure.
brain because of that
He's also a charlatan, really.
because he's a charlatan. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But like, but no, I watched that
Con
debate.
artist.
I watched a bit of that debate the other night just for whatever reason. I don't know.
I was in bed.
Yeah, I try to.
I go to bed at like 7:30, 8:30.
I've been pretty good at avoiding things like that for quite a while. I just wanted to have a quick look at him getting punched in the face over and over again, and it was great.
Yeah. Yeah. With somebody that's not geriatric.
Yeah,
Like
would,
yourself.
you're not. You're usually just like, why don't you just say this? Like, why don't you
Yeah,
just
I know,
point
I
out the fact he's an idiot or whatever,
Yeah.
and just why don't you ask him, hey, like why don't you name like 5 state capitals? Go.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
or
I know,
anything
I know, I
like
know.
that. Like
Be so easy to call him on his shit, right?
and she was just poking him. It was hilarious. It was just like
Yeah.
she knew exactly what to say. Oh, you should go to one of his rallies. People leave early. It was hilarious.
Oh my
Anyways,
God.
I don't
That's
care
so
if you
good.
vote, if you're in the States and you vote for whoever you vote for. It's democracy. I just hope that
Sure.
democracy wins because
Yeah,
that's
I
what
agree.
makes everything possible. We wouldn't be doing this thing right now if it wasn't for William Penn starting the democracy in the United States. Thank you. So we owe everything
We
to
might
that.
be, but it would be the state's opinions.
Yeah, fair enough.
Comrade Joe, what do you think of my new glorious Putin song?
Yeah. Well, it could be.
Um,
Oh god, scary. This song though, Charlatan. Yeah, one of my absolute faves on the album. Like I said before, drums are amazing. The sound quality is incredible. Crank it up. You're right. That is a song I'd want to have the car ready with a sweet system.
Yeah.
This next one
What?
takes a little bit of explaining.
Okay. Yeah. Did you get the image on
What?
what's happening with the image here?
Yeah, like what? Well, and the title of the song, as I have it written out, is "Heart World War WW1 is greater than SPQR Heart." What is SPQR?
SPQR is the it's originally a I'm gonna screw up the Latin, so I'm not even gonna try it. But it's the public works of Rome. And Mussolini kind of brought it back during World War II. So some of the when you go to Rome, you'll see SPQR stamped into things.
And that's for like the original like sanitation, like life of
Yeah,
Brian.
yeah, but it's also kind of a placeholder for the city of Rome, right? So in this, it's just like I could have put Rome, it'd be slightly less pedantic. But the name of the song is which you can't tell really from the text title of the song is
Speaking of Prince,
the
it's a very Prince title if I've ever seen one. Sorry, go ahead.
I love World War I more than I love Rome, which I still love. very much.
Okay. Uh,
Um,
I've been thinking about World War One. They've got a flair for war more than I've been thinking about Rome. Here's a proposition: nothing is true. And then, yeah, I just want to ask a bit more about the lyrics.
yeah. What do you want to know? Give
Through,
me a specific lyric and I'll tell you about it.
well,
Do
what have you been thinking about? I'm just curious, like, what is, where do you draw these two things together in your mind? Like, why these two
Okay,
things?
so there was this internet meme around the time I started writing this song of girlfriends asking their partners, "How often do you think about Rome?" And so Jen came up to me and she's like, "Hey, how often do you think about Rome?" I'm like, probably once or twice a week. Like ancient Rome, man, like once or twice a week, probably.
Is it a week, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
do you listen to hardcore history?
I mean, I love history. I'm a history buff for sure. But I mean,
There's a podcast called Hardcore History by a guy named Dan Carlin, which
okay,
if you haven't listened to,
I
you don't know what
haven't.
it's totally amazing. Um, he he does long form podcast episodes, and there's this one called Death Throes of the Republic, and it's four or five, oh maybe six episodes. And they start off short, but like they gradually each one gets a little bit longer, I think. And then the last one is all like it talks about the triumvirate, Julius Caesar, what's his name? Again,
Brutus,
Croesus Crassus? Richest Croesus is richest Crassus. It's Crassus. Croesus, there's as richest Croesus who isn't the same Croesus
Crassus.
as Crassus, who is the richest man in Rome. So either one would be right. And then what's the other guy's name? It's gonna escape me right now. It's so embarrassing. Here I am writing a song and I don't know shit. Uh it's gonna pop into my head. He's the guy that married uh Julius Caesar's daughter,
I
and then
guess.
um but he was the other triumvirate guy. Why is it not coming? He went took care of the problems in the Mediterranean with pirates. Pompey.
Okay.
Pompey.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is
So
not this is not my area of expertise at all.
no, that's fine.
I'm more like Ken Burns history and
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Ken Burns
Anyways,
too.
yeah.
Ken Burns does a lot more stuff that's more recent.
It's all
Dan Carlin does
American
a lot of
history, so it's all the
yeah,
last
that's right.
200 years.
Yeah, Dan Carlin is like kind of obsessed with Alexander the Great, and but he has this other one called our Blueprint for Armageddon, which is
Okay.
like basically a really complete history of, no, I mean not complete, but a really large history of World War One. And I think that one is 6 episodes, and each episode is like 6 hours long. And like I'll listen to it at work while I'm working, and
Yeah.
then I'll listen to the whole, 24 hours in 3 days or whatever, and then I'll start it again. I
Yeah.
love it so much. So that's part of the reason that I think of World War One so much, is because I listened to that one podcast, but I also listen to Death Throes of the Republic a lot too. And then, like it's like anything else, you listen to that, and then he's like, "Oh, read this book by Barbara Tuchman." And okay, I'll read that book. And like here's another book that like I'm using sort of, okay, I'll read that book, and then I'll spend a day on Wikipedia clicking every you know
Thing about that
consecutive link on
subject.
Wikipedia. And also my friend Nigel collects ancient coins, so we talk about that somewhat. So the tetradrachms on a road marked SPQR in a lush but sandy dry land. So it's Roman Egypt. Um, was it Tiberius that reinstated the royal mint in Alexandria? So the Ptolemies were basically like Cleopatra is of the Ptolemaic line. Ptolemaic, is that the right conjugation? And basically they were Alexander's one of his best friends when he died took over Greek Egypt and ran that his for generations his family ran that, and Cleopatra is kind of the last of that line.
Yeah.
So it's Greek coinage, but then when the Romans took over, they debased the value of the drachms and tetradrachms by largely taking out the amounts of silver in them and replacing them with other alloys.
Interesting.
So yeah, this 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 podcast just got fucking boring.
Dude, I
For-
love on YouTube, I like to watch the Weird History, which is like 10-minute shorts about like
Okay.
what was it like to live during the bubonic plague? Or like craziest plagues of all time, blah blah blah. And it's like a
Oh
10
yeah,
minute
yeah.
snippet. They're pretty interesting. And then
Mud Wanker has tuned out or whatever that guy is. Our troll
I just love
tuned out now.
I just love Ken Burns documentaries more than anything. I think I've probably learned more from those than anything. And then I have a YouTube premium subscription. So it has a ton of like, anything you've ever seen on TV is on YouTube premium. So
Yeah.
it's pretty much you can go back and watch anything. You can watch the 1985 Grammys start to finish right now if you wanted to. But I'll usually watch like I'll be laying in bed and I go like, I really don't know much about Genghis Khan.
Great.
And I was like, story of Genghis Khan. And like that's
Wrath
what
of the Khans, hardcore history, Dan Carlin.
man, those are
That's a good
incredible.
one too. There are some of the like some of the I find the Wrath of the Khans
I think I
hard to
watched that
listen
one
to.
actually.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
is there a video too, or is it just podcast?
I don't know if as far as I know it's just podcast,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's more hardcore history. It's hard to listen to because I don't know why, but Genghis Khan really freaks me out. They were just so good and so mean.
Him and his best friend there, or whatever, that guy that betrayed him, and he like wanted to come and offer his life or whatever. And then
Oh,
so he wanted an honorable death because he betrayed Genghis Khan. He was like his best friend. So they broke his back. That's an
mm,
honorable death, right? Where you put your hands over the sword or the
okay.
pole, and then they bend you backwards until your back breaks. That
I think it's actually pronounced Genghis.
Oh yeah, that's true too. Yeah, it's like there's a
It's
weird pronunciation.
like a
Yeah,
Genghis.
yeah, that's
Um,
right.
yeah, yeah. Are there any specific lyrics like you had mentioned the
Oh,
here's a proposition, nothing
let's
is true.
well now I've
Like
like forgotten the song, so let's
oh,
listen to a little bit
oh,
of it.
sure. Right.
Tetradrachms on a road marked as PQR in a lush but sandy dry land. Spilled from a satchel, cut off the belt of a Keaton. For a moment they lay next to a man. Now a penny in the mud has lost its shine amid all the metal and muck. So much more metal than an ancient mind could comprehend. And a rat scurries off of a finger. So many unidentifiable remains. Nothing's forever, but it seems like forever has already come in this campaign. It's hard to imagine. I'm gonna try. It makes sense to me to try. I've been thinking about World War I more than I've been thinking about Rome. I've been thinking about World War I more than I've been thinking about Rome. Rome at least once a fortnight. Information shield tight as the German attack. They've got a flair for warfare, but they're
Okay, what was that about the
The
Germanites?
Germani, so like the German tribes, the barbarians. I mean, it could be any at any different period. I guess Julius Caesar went and kind of conquered the Gauls, and I think he had a few run-ins with the Germans. I mean, they weren't Germans as they are now,
The
right? But like that's
Bavarians.
the kind of like, are these the same people, right? It's those Germanic tribes, which were scary and great fighters, but they couldn't build forts like the Romans could. They didn't have the tactical experience, but they still, I think it was the horde that eventually toppled Rome in what 412 or something like that. I'm not good with dates. But yeah, just kind of like this idea of there's these soldiers and they're scary as fuck. But like 1500 years, 2000 years later or whatever, then we have this modern German army that is like a really, really good army. They're not as good as the French probably, but in World War One. Different story in World War Two, obviously. Uh, but and they like the kind of like World War Two, like there's an obvious bad guy in World War Two, right? Like
Yeah,
it's like probably the most famous bad guy of all time now.
a couple
Uh,
of them. Mussolini
yeah,
too.
yeah, Mussolini's bad, but I mean, like
Yeah, he's Hitler's
Hitler
bitch.
is very, very bad, and Stalin's bad too. Like honestly, Stalin's not great, and like people are like Churchill sucks now, they don't like Churchill, but like I mean compared when you when you put him up against Stalin and Hitler.
I think Churchill kind of blew it in World War One, didn't he? I think there's some stuff went down where I forget what it was, but I
it
think
was
some men were lost when they were fighting. It was like the Ottoman Empire,
it
correct?
was the Ottoman Empire, right? Well, so the way that Churchill puts it is like he had this plan to use their old, I think it's their battleships or their corvettes or something, old ships that were out of date at this point. He was going to run them down the Strait of, is it Gallipoli? And I get names wrong, but I have the basic concepts right. And they were going to run them down and sacrifice the ships or whatever, but the admirals, who were attached to these ships, actually kind of like came in kind of slow and were like trying to be defensive when they should have been offensive. The whole thing was supposed to be a surprise thing,
Right.
and so Churchill had this plan to take these guys on and and do it quickly and before they could fortify, but because these admirals wanted to go slow, it allowed the Ottomans time to fortify. Basically, they gave them something like 7 weeks or something like that, and then basically it was like they tried a bunch of amphibious landings in these really highly fortified uh areas where the Ottomans had amazing high ground, and they just kind of, it was like D-Day, but where the defense was successful. So
So
Churchill
all
will tell you that he didn't fail, that he had a great plan,
right.
uh, but that yeah, I don't know.
The
There,
Rose, I learned, I think it was actually, I don't know. I used to watch old documentaries about those wars quite a bit, but
yeah,
learned a lot. Actually, the Ken Burns documentary with about well, Vietnam was actually probably my favorite war documentary that Ken
yeah,
Burns
it's
did.
great. It's
Ho-
really good.
where he talks about Ho Chi Minh in the first episode, pretty much primarily.
Yeah,
It's incredible. It's like Ho Chi Minh was, yeah, he's been demonized kind of over here,
sure.
but it's his intents were actually quite good or well, appear to be. He's obviously a nationalist and all for his home country.
I mean,
But
there's another case of it's kind of being like it's ambiguous,
yes,
in a lot of ways. And I've read a few Vietnam books, and like I kind of understand where the Americans were coming from in a way. I just think it's misguided and it was a bit stupid. They
right.
you when are you ever going to get a country on your side through a war? I mean, I guess it does happen, but it's like that's kind of, Vietnam was the end of World War, and like war as a means of politicking. Uh,
Hmm.
like now it's Iraq, Afghanistan. Look at these places, right? It's just like if you really wanted these people on your side, it's like this is probably not the way to do it. Maybe I don't know what the way to do it is, but let's
True.
yeah,
It's just
I
not
don't
that
know.
way.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know what I'm talking about with this stuff really, but uh
okay. All right. Well, the last song, the World War One SPQR,
Yeah,
is definitely one of my favorite tracks on the album.
me-
Again,
I
this
do
next
like it.
this next song, Ghosts. I got big acoustic guitars. Uh, it's funny because so you told me already a little bit about the meaning behind this at the start of the episode, but
Yeah.
when I was listening to it, I actually got a bit of a 70s feel from this song,
Okay.
the acoustic guitars and stuff like that. And then I was thinking like,
Interesting.
okay, maybe he's means ghosts as in like, the ghosts of past coming through in like the 90s music, or I don't know. That was kind of where I was going with it when I was listening to it. So that's what it meant to me.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's really close to what it was. I would say that more than anything, this is uh like sonically inspired by Hayden. Uh, that kind of like listful, kind of slow, low guitar, low voice. I mean, I don't sing very low on it, but it's like, that song "Girl of My Dreams" by Hayden, or as bad as it seems, I think "Girl of My Dreams."
Yeah.
That's kind of what I had in mind when I was writing that one.
Let's
The
listen to
cat
it a little bit.
wakes up and spots another ghost, one that he had spied before. He dismisses it, stretches himself before me, then rests his head back on the floor. Feel the ghosts in this place. Feel the ghosts in this place. If I could talk to them, I'd ask them all my questions.
Oops.
What's this?
Geez, I think
Tempelflitzer.
there you go. Tenfa Fitza.
Oh,
Sorry about
that's right.
that. Yeah, I just love so is that you on all guitars there?
Yeah. It's just one guitar.
Is that
Or
your Martin guitar?
that's my D35. Yeah, that's correct.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super pretty. I like how you hit the same chord as you're singing on a couple, to end off each verse. And yeah, it just sounds it's very pretty. I love it.
Yeah, that seven chord really sings. It's an open tuning.
Okay.
Uh and yeah, that seven. That was a fun one to write. I kept changing the tunings. Originally it just started out drop C,
Oops.
and then eventually it became dadgat or whatever that tuning is. And yeah, fun to do. And again, the ghosts are kind of like metaphorical ghosts, right? They're the you go to a place what's the big concert hall in Toronto that has all the
Massey.
Massey. Thank you. Yeah, you go to Massey and it's just like, think about the people that have performed here. Think about, they don't even have to be dead people, right? It's just like the people that were in this place, just the general feeling that we have of them. That it's not actually, there's no actual residual energy or anything cosmic like that. It's just like these fabrications in my head from the feeling I get from being in a place that I know has had these legendary performances or these people, and like trying to organize the guys during summer to go to Bat House in Kingston to record would obviously be like a really thrilling thing for me. The ghosts in that place would be like, oh yeah, this. I'm now at a spot where I'm uh recording an album in a place where my favorite album was recorded, right? So it's like it was pretty cool. Anticipation being its own drug, right? And it's like, when you lose the anticipation, the letdown of that. And yeah,
Is Handhouse your favorite album ever?
it comes and goes from the top spot. Yeah, but yeah,
Pretty much.
I
That's your
love
go-to favorite
I
album?
deeply love that record. Yeah. Yeah,
Very,
it's a good
very
record.
cool. So for all
Yeah.
you Americans, that's Trouble at a Hen House. And there's actually a documentary series coming up for the Tragically Hip on Amazon Prime on September the I've got it set in my 20th, I want to say, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think it was Gord's brother Mike that made it. He's always been a filmmaker. And
Yeah.
so
Check
could
out
be
this
pretty
channel
cool.
too. We've got lots of content on Tragically Hip. Jordan has joined us a few times for a Desert Island playlist series where we basically draft our Desert Island playlist with 4 or 5 different people. Can't pick the same song twice. I think Tragically Hip was the first song that we did together, right?
I think so too. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great format. A lot of fun. A lot of fun to make those episodes.
Yeah. And we also did a Joel Plaskett one, who is also, after you get Jordan's album here, you might want to check out Joel Plaskett has a new record out today as well.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Friday the
that's fun.
13th.
I should drop him a line.
Yes, you should.
He doesn't know me. I met
Oh.
him twice, but I mean, he probably would if he saw me. He's like that kind of guy, right? He'd be like, "Oh yeah, I remember you from that." He's like
Probably.
really smart guy. But yeah, no, I don't like have a relationship with him, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Of any kind.
So yeah, the next song on the album, song 8, is Promise. I've got as my notes, big clean riffage, big drums. Actually, I think I used this one in one of the reels promoting this episode. Feel this texture, pleasure. Did you say pleasure? Feel this
Yeah.
texture, feel this pleasure, feel this leisure. Is there leisure?
No, it's feel this texture, feel this pleasure, feel this discomfort, felt and measured.
All in the bridge. I wrote down just production layers, and this is one for sure you want to have your headphones on.
Yeah. Tyler
anything to know
also
about this song. Yeah.
Hey, Tyler went off book for this bass line in the bridge. He's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I also just kind of recorded this other part, like use it or don't use it or whatever." But the original bass line that I'd written was the bass is following the guitars in chord, ding 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 ding. Very kind of early Soundgarden-ish. Like the song Birth Ritual, I think, has a part like that. That's deeply ingrained into my
psyche,
my subconscious, that tune.
Fun.
But then Tyler sent this part over, and I was like, oh my god, that's just so good. There's no way I can let that one slip away. It's not the what I had envisioned for it, but it's just so much better. So I gotta generally Devo and Tyler, when they go off script, it's always like something that's like pretty wildly good. You know what I mean? It's like it's usually something that's like, wow. There really is something to be said about knowing the instrument that you're writing for. And like, oh, I kind of know bass. I could pick up and play some bass songs, right? But those guys are true artists.
Listen how this one opens. Love that.
It's a Rorschach of a feeling, reaching out and discreetly through the fibers, programming expectations, examining
Felt and measured.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, this one. Sometimes when I write a song, like or I actually wrote this one at 6 in the morning, waiting for the subway to go to work. The main riff just like popped into my head. I have it on my phone. I sang the da 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 or whatever the main riff is, and then and it was originally I promise, I promise, and it was originally also like more like a pop song when I wrote it first. And then I thought like it kind of whittled itself into, as I was like sometimes when I'm writing a song, I don't have an idea and I let the kind of like the lyrics sculpt the song or I let the song sculpt the lyrics in a way. It's kind of hard to explain, but like, like the words are sounds that are coming out and I'm just trying to interpret them or whatever from this whatever recess of my brain is pushing it out. And so with this one, it sort of kind of became about like I thought that it was like cooler and more daunting to make the agent in the song not myself and not even necessarily human, like could be AI, but it also kind of is like when I get sick, and I've written about this before, when I get like fevers, I have this kind of disalignment uh in my head that I can't really explain. It's like a kind of vibration or whatever. And like kind of exploring the measurement of like, like can you measure a thought? Can you measure consciousness? Can you measure uh feelings, right? Felt and measured is kind of that kind of idea. It's just
Right.
like I just like the idea of something kind of sinister that's like going after you, almost like Terminator-esque, but maybe on a more cerebral level.
Oh my God. Guys, this next song's Occam's Guillotine, and I fucking love it. So I know I've said this a few times, like my favorite songs on the album. Promise is actually one of my favorites. Occam's Guillotine and the next one after that are this one's probably my favorite song so far on the album is Occam's Guillotine.
Yeah,
And
cool.
then the Surf Confessions after that is the funniest song.
Yeah,
There's a lot of humor in the lyrics. Most of Jordan's albums, there's something going on that's pretty funny. It sticks with you. Broccoli and Chemicals being one of them that I laugh at a lot. Soccer Mom is a song he wrote in the past. It's hilarious. Fraser Lake parking lot or Icefield
there's like
parking lot.
Icefield parking lot. That's an oldie.
Uh,
Very few people have a recording of that.
I listen to that one a lot. That
Okay.
song just always cracked me up, and it's a great song.
Yeah.
But so anyways, a really funny one's coming up next. But this one's called Occam's Guillotine, and I had to do a little bit of research because I had heard the term Occam's razor before, but I've never taken like a philosophy class or anything like that, so I wasn't too familiar with it. Jordan reminded me of the movie Contact, and we were having a little talk about who said Occam's razor in the movie Contact beforehand. And Contact was actually featured in one of my episodes. Who's the director of that one? Is it Robert Zemeckis? So I have a Robert
Sure.
Zemeckis episode on this channel. Remember to like and subscribe this shit. Anyways, Occam's razor. So it's William of Occam. And when he, what is it here? Oh, Jordan, how did you get out of the seat?
I had to go to the bathroom. No, I'm just kidding.
Did it kick
It
you out?
something happened there. You froze up and I don't know. I
Oh no.
recording
Okay.
for a while
Here,
there, but
let me
we
just try.
are now
Let me
streaming live on YouTube.
let's try this again here. Uh-oh. Stop. Let me just go back to the gallery. We'll stop the immersion for 1 second here. So Occam's razor, yeah, William of Occam, when faced with competing explanations for the same phenomenon, the simplest is likely the correct one. The best explanation is the one that makes the fewest assumptions. And then in the song, this here, they are assumptions. And over here, Occam's guillotine. Um, and then I go, is the theme climate change was kind of what I was thinking when I was listening to it. Also, making angry voices, consider your choices. You want to talk a little bit about this track, Joe?
Yeah, this one's kind of a what's the word for it? It's like a salutary tale, the right? No, that's not the right word. It's kind of like a parable, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the right word is to say what I want to say, but I do, but it's kind of deep in my brain right now. But
Metaphor?
it's yeah, no, it's not a metaphor. It's so you have these guys, these billionaires that are making the world worse sometimes through their platforms that they've created, and they're off building fortresses in Hawaii, not remembering things like the French Revolution. They're building fortresses to protect themselves from this world that they've created, and their assumption is that within those fortresses that they're going to be the ones in power, if they manage to avoid a possible revolution, right? Like as the wealth gap increases, as things get worse, you look at history, and like things are good for people in power for a long time until they're not.
Right.
And if society falls apart and they have to retreat to these things, it's not going to be them that's the king of these fortresses. It's going to be their head of security. You know what I mean? It's going to be when you're degrading a society to the rules of the jungle, as it were. It's going to be it's right of might, and they're not the like Zuckerberg. I will say 100% can kick my ass. He's like a purple belt or something like that. But I'm not the guy he has to worry about. So, and like I don't even know that he's a bad guy, actually. I don't think he means to be. Like, but is Facebook a force for good in the world? Probably not. Should he be?
It's hard to know. I definitely signed up to Facebook back in 2007 when it started off, and it was a great way to basically connect with people you hadn't seen in a long time.
Yeah, it was rad when it started.
Yeah, when it first came out, it was super fun. Actually, it was kind of hilarious. They had like the polls. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
most dateable, all those sort of things. It was like, oh, I'm not last, thank God. But anyways, yeah, and it just it got political. People start putting their opinions and stuff like that, and that's where it all went sideways.
I was super guilty of it for a long time, and then I was like,
me too.
No more.
Me too. I'm really embarrassed by some of the things that I probably
nobody cares what I have to say, even when I put it in a song. But I work so hard to make these songs. Nobody cares.
Let's have a listen to Occam's razor for a second here.
Occam's guillotine.
Oh, sorry. Occam's
correction.
Are you sure that's true?
get like a bit of almost Offspring like smash in there too, just in that one little part there. The
Yeah,
breakdown.
Offspring and Nirvana,
Yeah,
100%
yeah,
are both yeah, sonically speaking, not melodically really. Um,
right.
and obviously I have a much dorkier voice than either of those guys.
I don't think so. I think the Offspring guy's got maybe the one of the dorkiest voices ever.
Oh, you know what? He kind of does have a dorky voice. Have you ever seen that Far Side where the nerds are like have a tape recorder and they're like, does my voice actually sound like that? That's how I always feel when I hear my voice. The one thing that's fun about this is have you ever read Handmaid's Tale, Margaret Atwood?
No.
At the end of it, and sorry if this is a spoiler for anybody. I mean, you can fast forward, but fucking
Spoiler
been
alert on
over
the
a
Handmaid's
year.
Tale.
But
If you're an hour 2.5 with Joe and Jord here, there's a
yeah,
Handmaid's Tale spoiler alert right now.
Handmaid's Tale spoiler. At the end of the book, there's a like conference on like archaeologists, and they're kind of looking back at the they find the writings, they find the diary of this person or whatever, and they're kind of like talking about how this how this whole story, they have 2020 retrospect to look at it and kind of judge the people, but also not judge them at the same time. And that's kind of the vibe that I wanted, was like the an archaeologist seeing the remains of this, almost like Ozymandian scene of like you know look at my works ye mighty in despair, right? Where this person has actually met a terrible end in this case, though it's not even that time has been unkind and forgotten them. It's just like not only that, but they met this horrible end in folly. So I don't know. That's kind
Okay.
of where I'm with that one.
We're gonna move on to the 10th song here. So we got 2 songs to go after this one. 10th song, Surf Confessions, is in my opinion the funniest song on the album. And very
Oh
brave.
yeah, I'm glad you picked
I'm really proud of
both.
you for making some surf confessions. I feel like these are personal, and that's big of you.
Yeah.
I've been boogie boarding with Jordan before, and Jordan knew a lot about it, and he had been there quite a few times. I knew that. It's a
I
very
can boogie board. I just can't surf. I
I
can't surf. I suck
I'm
at surfing.
it's I know it's hard because we're from Canada, okay, and
Yeah.
so where we both would go surfing in our 20s and teens is a place called Tofino, Long Beach, sorry, in the west
Long
coast of the
Beach,
island, or
Chesterman,
Chesterman's.
Fox,
Yeah,
Florencia sometimes.
and
Wick.
yeah, and so George lived closer. He lived in Port Alberni, so he obviously went a lot more than I did. But to learn in cold water, like you basically got to be there a lot.
That's the thing, is if you want to get good at surfing, you have to do it every day for a fairly long time. You have to
And
get
it's
strong at it. You have to develop those muscles, and you get those muscles from doing it. You get the experience from doing it. It's
yeah.
there's no surprise that I suck at surfing. It's just like,
Can you skateboard?
yeah, I was pretty good at skateboarding when I was around 13.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was not bad. I mean, I was never that good, but that didn't last long. Skateboarding's hurts. That's what they don't tell you. Hurt.
Here's some surf confessions.
I'm good on a snowboard. The bridge tells you about my past history with sports.
Okay, yeah.
This one's Weezer-esque, by the way.
What?
This one is surf wax. What's the fucking, you take your car to work, I'll take my board. And
Yeah, it's a
what a
Blink
guess,
20
I'm still
or
afloat.
right.
I just want to like I wanted to give a nod to that section of the 90s of like the Californian
Oh,
contribution.
Weezer. Yeah.
Weezer, the surf culture, which I've always loved. I love watching surfing. I really love surfing. I really wish I could do it a lot better.
Is Point Blank your favorite movie? or Point Break.
Point Break is pretty high up there. I can sit with you through that whole movie and basically give you the script.
Oh,
People
great.
trusted you and they died.
It's a
You
great.
gotta go down, Bodie.
Where is it? Where is Hawaii? Where's the big surf at
South
the end?
Beach, Australia.
Australia.
50-year storm, especially in Utah. You-
Oh man, we used to rent that movie. I think we were probably like 10 or 11 or something like that. We used to rent that all the time. One of our favorite shows.
I think I own it in a few different formats. My sister's friends introduced me to that movie, who also were like all pretty good surfers. My sister has a lot of friends that were good at surfing, a couple at least that were like quite good.
It's quite Keanu really owned in the VHS like world because
Yeah, Speed.
everybody had Speed. Man,
Uh,
that one came out like a month before Christmas on VHS.
I just
swear to-
rewatched Speed the other night and it rules.
That's a really
I
good
thought it was
movie.
like I thought it wasn't going to be that good, like that. Like it's how a lot of those kind of blockbustery movies don't
Oh
really
yeah,
hold, but it's start to finish good.
it's
It's a
very
real
good, man.
cool.
Dennis
Dennis
Hopper's.
Hopper's a little over the top, but he's good.
This
Yeah.
is a surf
I
confession.
freaking suck at surfing. I hate to say it. If I could, I'd everyday it. I don't have the stamina, I don't have the waves. I tend to panic when the ocean misbehaves. I suck at surfing. Surf confessions. Surf confessions. Now you know my shame. I freaking suck at surfing. I wish it weren't true. I can paddle for a while. Not much else that I can do. I suck at surfing. After each passing set, it takes time to regroup. Longboards feel so clunky. At least I can stand up in the soup. I suck at surfing. Surf confessions. Surf confessions. And now you know my shame. I'm okay on a snowboard. I used to skate. The risk of drowning just isn't as great. I'm a so-so swimmer. I'm not very brave. I'm a frickin' Barno from an inland state. I suck at surfing. Surf confession.
Love the bass on this song too.
Yeah, Tyler ad-libbed a lot on this one, and it really makes it sing. You know what I realized? It kind of he gives it almost a which is perfect. He gives it the in the meantime treatment almost. It has like that kind of whenever it's done, I always like when I listen to it now, when it finishes and those two that big guitar sound at the end, I always expect it to go dun 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 like at the end of in the meantime. I didn't do that on purpose, but when Tyler added the bass to it, because it kind of he really makes it sing there. It's really cool.
It fit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Passion.
I just that's a great track, man. That's a friggin'
Thank you.
You kind of get like it's like headstones almost. Kind of like when you're talking, when you're kind of phrasing like that. What were you saying? That's just more like a nod to the surf songs of the 90s.
Yeah.
Obviously you do
Yeah.
obviously you do a bit of the Beach Boys thing there too, but then the
Yeah. There's some Dick Dale
like
action in that. Rick, when he was the first comment he sent me once he mixed it, he's like, I really wanted to turn up the Dick Dale on that, or I forget exactly what he said, but I'm like, yeah, Rick, that's exactly right. You got it right away. It's always nice when you do something intentionally, but it's not so blatant or whatever, or even if it is blatant, when people pick up on it, it's always kind of nice to know that they're picking up on it. So
Cool.
your intentionality is manifesting.
I think that's what I got on it. I said the bass, wow, wow, on the bass towards the end there.
Yeah.
It reminds me. Tracy Morgan has a skit called "Decadence and Debauchery," where he's talking about actually going to a party at Prince's house, and
Yeah.
they had a band playing there and stuff like that, at Prince's house, and Tracy like got up on the bass guitar. He doesn't know how to play bass guitar. He's just going whew, whew, whew. He's like some funky donkey shit. And then he's like wakes up 3 days later, and Prince is like, hey man, like you gotta leave. Like he's sleeping on the couch. He's like, okay. And he like gives Prince a big hug, and he whispers in his ear, he's like, my dad loves when doves cry. And then he leaves or whatever. Anyways, it's just really funky. I really love the bass lines on that or whatever. And maybe even like a You Can Call Me Al, Paul Simon, like the little breaks in there.
Yeah, sure.
Really love it.
Yeah.
Okay. The End Is Near is the second to last song.
Penultimate, as we call it.
Penultimate song on the album here. The End Is Near. Let's play a little bit of it. I wrote that I love the phrasing on this track, Jord.
Okay, great. This one didn't work for a long time. I had to rewrite the melody a couple times on it.
I know that you've been waiting. The anticipation is high. Your pupils dilating. A single tear leaves your eye. Not long to wait. What's there to fear? Let's make it happen. The end is near. Not long to wait. Living in fear. You know the business. The end is near.
Love those. Love those part. I love that when you get into that a bit more. What are you saying there, Jordan?
All this time, making the prophecy happen. Basically sums up the whole song. It's just about self-fulfilling prophecy and trying to usher in the end of the world because he tells you that the world is going to end.
Say again, sorry, Jordan.
The self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Trying to usher in the end of the world because your ancient text tells you the world is going to end.
I just love the sounds you guys are getting off of that. As I put, the break is incredible, and I love the psychedelia.
Yeah,
just
that's
behind it.
largely Rick.
That's largely Rick.
I kind of gave Rick some parts, and then I'm like, hey, make this sound cool. He's like, how does this sound? Like, that sounds pretty fucking good.
Rick Salt from Vancouver Island. Once again, Jordan Venn, the Slizneys, debut a new record today, Magic Words. And check it out. It's on every streaming platform. And we've been going through the songs. We're live streaming this right now. We'll put the video back out again later as well, edit it up, and on Jordan's channel, which is Jordopia. You can find him on YouTube. I'm like a YouTube guy. I have a YouTube Premium, and I listen to all my music on YouTube. I have unlimited data on my cell phone, so I listen to YouTube music when I'm out and about, and that's our streaming. I used to have Apple Music. I've actually never had Spotify. The only problem I have with Spotify is that you can't find everything, and people like argue with me about this, but it's true. Not everything is there on YouTube.
Yeah, not everything. No.
Honestly, you can pretty much find everything. And I love live music. So
Great.
I've been watching these King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizards tour. as they played Vancouver last night, things like that. It's so amazing for music, for me anyways. I just love live music, but also they have everything. So Jordan's songs are available on YouTube as well, Apple Music, Spotify, and Bandcamp, and anywhere you can stream music. Right, Jordan?
Sweet. Absolutely true.
What's
Title
this? So
either?
the end is near.
Yeah.
Uh, what we didn't really talk about it much before we started the video. You gotta tell me a bit about the song.
About self-fulfilling prophecy. I'd written the riff quite a while ago. It was just something that I was on my phone of like sometimes, I'll diddling around. I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but playing around is that right?
Are you
I'll be
diddling?
playing guitar
Uh-huh.
and riff will come out of it and I'll go, oh yeah, that's a riff, and I'll record that riff on my phone and it'll sit there for ever, sometimes never to be used. Or I'll go back and like, oh, I need some more rock songs. Look in the past, what rock songs have I written? I don't feel like writing one today, but I should. So, and then I was like, oh yeah, this one's pretty cool. And so then, yeah, and it's like some of the tunes I have the idea for the tune, and then some of them just kind of happen through the process of whittling it down into more of a tune,
Yeah. The final track on the album, Magic Words, it's out today, February or September 13th, Friday the 13th, out
Friday the
today.
13th. I know. It's so what a great day. It's also my sister-in-law's birthday. So
Ooh,
yeah,
very good.
cool. Shout out to
Also,
Jamie Knock. Happy birthday.
and happy birthday as well to my niece, Autumn, and
Okay.
it's her 18th birthday today.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday, and they're doing the San Joseph's Bay up at the north end of the island for the next
Okay.
couple of days. It's like a little hike in and hike out, and beautiful spot, beautiful beach on the northern tip of Vancouver Island.
Nice. Is it near Cape Scott?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So Jordan, the last song on the album is "The Universe Is Altered,"
Yeah.
and tell us a bit about. You were kind of mentioned a little bit about this one earlier. What's the
Yeah.
song about?
This one is kind of about an homage specifically to Gord Downie, uh, who I think is probably my all-time favorite lyricist. And obviously the universe is altered is there's a lot of um poets references. There's a few other references, but poets don't tell me that the universe is altered when you find out how he gets paid. All right. So and it's just about uh kind of how what I went through when he died, which I mean, like, wasn't like, like somebody that I knew or had a relationship with dying or anything like that. But it was like it was kind of shocking to me how bummed out I was.
Yeah.
Uh, and I couldn't listen to them for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years afterwards. Like I just couldn't, like it made me too sad. I didn't want to face it. But then at a certain point, I started kind of like, okay, I
Coming
got to
back around.
again. Yeah.
I
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure, man. I mean, I'm trying to think of celebrity deaths that have rocked me, and that one is easily the highest. And or
It's
like,
it's the only one by a long shot for me that had any effect on me. I mean, like there's lots of people that I liked that died. I mean, even Kurt Cobain as the kid, I loved Nirvana, and when he died, it was kind of like, oh, that's too bad.
I remember being like really upset about John Candy at the same time. And
Okay.
that was 94 as well. I wasn't a big
Yeah.
Nirvana fan, but I mean,
Right.
I can't yeah, I can't I don't know. I don't even I can't even think of one right now where I was like, oh, I was like really shook to the core. I mean, Robin Williams was really sad. I remember that kind of being a bit like, oh, really? Okay. But same thing, like I don't have like a
Yeah.
personal connection. A musician is kind of a bit more personal, I think, because you've
I
had them
think
in your
so
home
too.
alone, you've had them in your headphones, just you and
Yeah. He meant a lot to us as just as our sort of poet laureate in a lot of ways for the country. And like we said before in another episode, that like a third of the country tuned in to the final concert on CBC, and it was just like had a long period of writing, and it was all really, really good. And he was a really sweet guy and did a lot of shows around Toronto area for like environmental causes and stuff like that too. Like just like this, it was just like kind of like, oh, that is a bummer. That's like really sad that that happened, And like, yeah, it's always a bummer when somebody dies that you admire, but for some reason it kind of like felt personal, I guess I guess I'm trying to explore that, why that is in the song a bit, but I don't know.
Let's have a listen.
Thought it would be cool to
Universe is altered.
Oh, let's have a listen.
The universe is altered. I spot the numbers. I glimpsed and tripped, observed and slipped. I saw and stumbled. It was peripheral, but it tickled all my senses. It cost me so much that it ruined my expenses. The prose was flowery but prosaic all the same. It swept my mind, it stole my friends, it took my name. For the sake of the good and the true, I burned some art. Retreated to those Marianas of the heart. I know you don't wanna hear it, I'm sorry, but the universe is altered. I know you don't wanna hear it, I'm sorry, but the universe is altered. I know you don't wanna hear it, I'm sorry, but the universe is altered.
I don't want to hear it, Jordan.
Hey, yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Sorry. The universe is altered.
Love it, buddy. It's a great song.
Wicked.
Great album.
Thank you,
Uh,
man.
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan, obviously, of Jordan Venn and the Slizneys, and based out of Toronto. Can you mention all the people on the record again one last time here?
It's Devin Henderson, Trevor Falls, Tyler Emo, and then production and post production, John Dinsmore recorded the drums for us. Rick Salt mixed it, Noah Mintz mastered it, and I think Lorraine S out of Italy drew the cover for us. And I think that's everybody. There's not a lot of people.
How long were you writing these songs for, George? Like, how long were you putting this album, like basically straight after Life is a Shipping Lane? Jordan's last album is called Life is a Shipping Lane. A lot of those songs are also featured on the Joepinionated list and Rad Flicks and episodes on this channel. If you haven't checked those out, do a lot of music and movie episodes. And you can hear Jordan Venn sprinkled in quite a bit. There's some other Toronto people like to mention. Trevor Falls, who's on the album. Trevor has a solo album as well, which I've featured on Daft Punk and on a few other lists. Lauren Falls as well. And so Trevor and Lauren Falls from Port Alberni, BC, they're mom and dad, or were the music teachers, or just the...
Yeah, so their mom taught at Klitza, and their dad taught at EJ Dunn, so two different junior highs. And then when the high school band teacher retired, I think they both went in and co band taught. Port Alberni, like for all we joke about it, had really our high school was awesome. It was really like spent a lot on arts and lots of different programs. It was a good high school. So
Yeah.
can't complain
No,
about that.
and I mean, yeah, I grew up in Nanaimo primarily, and so it's like one of the rival cities. It's like Port Alberni and Duncan were the two cities. Like, no way in hell I'd ever live there. And then
Right.
as soon as everybody graduated, they all moved to Port Alberni and Duncan. So it's those loyalties are long gone.
You could buy a house in Port Alberni for a long time for like $100,000, $200,000. A big 5-bedroom house that had a mountain view.
Still
So
still one of the most affordable places on Vancouver Island would be Port Alberni.
yeah.
And it's a beautiful old, it's a logging town. There used to be a bunch of mills. I think they're down to one mill. And
Yeah, I think there's a couple. I think they may be running. I think APD is done. I think they're running a machine at the paper mill. I'm not sure for sure.
yeah.
Uh,
But and then some other people I want to mention quickly are Tristan Clark from the Tristones, who's featured on the episodes quite a bit as well. Tristan Armstrong and Duncan Simmons. Tristan Armstrong, he's got some music out as well, featured on some of the episodes. I just want to say thank you because,
you got Duncan's music on there?
well, I've got Actual Goners on
Oh,
there,
actual guns, right? Yeah,
which is a collaboration
keep
of
on them.
Tristan
Yeah,
and Duncan,
that's a
and
great record. That's really good.
that's awesome. Yeah. And featured on many episodes. So when you're hearing the music at the start and the end of the episodes, oftentimes you're hearing this guy, Jordan Venn. And so I want to say thank you for that, first of all. And, I'm a big fan, Jord. Obviously, we're buddies, and I look forward to your music. And I'm telling you, this is my favorite record that you've done to this date. And
Wicked.
I can't wait for more, but at the same time, I can't wait to just kind of enjoy this album for a while.
Yeah, yeah,
And
right on.
I hope your channel gets blown up. I hope everybody goes to Bandcamp and has some listens and hit the like button on some of the videos you're watching. Jordan spent a lot of time as well in the past doing videos, stop motion, Lego stuff, a lot of that, which is really great, and just stop motion in general. Time Machine is obviously one of my favorites. A lot of time went into that. Birds Are Dinosaurs is another really great track that good luck getting that one out of your head. Theropod Dinosaurs, Birds Are Dinosaurs. I don't know. That one's like in my head like Yellow Submarine, honestly.
Oh yeah,
And
great. I didn't
and
even get into the cladistics with that one, but I hope people learned something.
yeah, yeah. And but yeah, anyways, I'm a huge fan. And if you're gonna check out some songs from this one, I really like Occam's Guillotine. It's one of my favorites. Promises,
Promise, just promise.
and Surf Confessions. Surfing.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Surf Confessions.
those will be my 3 recommendations off the hop. Hilarious. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Respect to Jordan Venn and the Slizneys. And I'm sorry I'm a little low on facts and high on opinions. Love you, brother.
Awesome, Joe. Thanks so much for having me on. Appreciate it.
Let's do this again. And I don't know if this will